pretty eyes of yours, the dedication.
Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chanel, and today I wanted to touch on a little topic that's been weighing on my brain. So I'm going to be showing me doing my hair, but I wanted to talk about being able to do both. I feel like just how I grew up culturally. When you're a natural girl, you're the natural girl. When you're the weave girl, you're the weave girl, straight hair, blowout girl, etc., etc. I feel like you are expected to show up in the world that way all the time, and anything deviating from that change is really like shocking to people, or there's always like this surprise, like, oh, look at you, da da da. And I feel like it's amplified when you're known as the natural hair girl, because for some reason, like, there's this stigma on natural hair girls that you don't get weaves, you don't wear wigs, you don't get blowouts. And the most stigmatizing thing is like, oh, you got your hair done? Like, if I show up in a different way than like with a wash and go or like a braid out. If I show up without, like, even with natural girls, if you show up with like individual braids or feed-ins or whatever, that's kind of like the deviation from that. That's like as far as the social circle or, social pressure will allow you to deviate from your, day-to-day life aesthetic. Is like getting some braids. But other than that, it's like, no, girl, you gotta weave. Oh, what, you got your hair done? Or like, it's like, that's so annoying to me, and I just wanted to discuss that. So I think it stems mostly from ignorance. It's learned ignorance over time. Everything traces back to slavery and racism and all that type of stuff. We're not going to get that deep today. So I did want to talk about just like the confidence that comes from loving yourself and loving your hair, and how that enables you to be able to move away from the realm of like social or societal pressure, with staying within a certain linear aesthetic. So just sticking to what you know or what you've been doing and what's expected of you. And like I said, it kind of starts with ignorance and slavery and things that derive under that umbrella and all the many branches from that tree. But just on a social level and then like a personal level, I think that one, we have to stop being judgmental, right? So understanding who you are as a person, looking outward does not help. Yes, we can see other hairstyles and we can see what the other girlies are doing. I love looking at other women and admiring their style, or seeing a style that I might want to try. All of that is acceptable. But when you get into comparison mode and being envious and jealousy, I think that we need to start questioning ourselves and understanding why. Those things aren't inherently negative to possess, because they are emotions that exist, and no human being is immune from those emotions, right? But I feel like the envy and jealousy, it's deep-seated, and it comes from somewhere, and that traces back to, how you grew up, where you live, who you're around, how much leeway you feel that you have within your peer group or familial circle. And when you stop being judgmental on people, seeing what other people have done, or even just when someone changes up a style or how they dress or whatever, when you start to reflect on yourself, of why do I want to judge that? Like, what's the problem with that? Like, you have that moment, everyone has that moment where something rubs in the wrong way, or even if it's not as deep of rubbing you the wrong way, where you'll look at something and you don't really like it, or you're not really feeling it. Sometimes we need to ask ourselves, like, what's my problem actually with this thing, right? And I think that once you ask yourself that, you'll get back to what exactly is your issue and why you feel like you can't do something similar, or not really copy that style, but more so deviate from something, or go outside the cultural norms of hairstyling and like personal style. And then you want to reflect on yourself, right? And be like, if you see someone that you envy, and ask yourself why. Why is this person going on this trip making you feel this way? Why does this girl's hair make you feel this way, right? And then you start to address those like limited beliefs, because something about you and your limited beliefs makes you feel like you can't have the thing that they have, or you feel like you have settled for the fact that you don't want it because you feel like you probably can't have that thing, right? So you kind of settle in the fact that's like, that's never going to happen for me, so I don't want that anyway, when really it's something that you could possibly want, or something that you wouldn't mind having or being able to obtain if it was in the realm of possibility for you, right? And then when you get to that, I feel like you start to question you and your perspective and the world around you, and I think it internally helps you to understand yourself a little more, and then that kind of gives you a little more bravery, right? So for me, for example, being a dark-skinned girl, I'm going to relate everything to being a dark-skinned girl, because it's like literally the foundation of how I grew up, and it's how I show up in the world and how people saw me and affected how they treated me, right? And which also then in turn reflected how I saw the world again. But basically being dark skinned, like, I felt like I was limited in what I could and should do. I couldn't wear color. I couldn't wear certain colors if I did decide to dabble. My hair needed to be put together. I couldn't look like those ashy dark skinned girls, like the Gross Sisters. I couldn't be the girl with the weave that was sticking up and hair didn't blend right. Girls with kinkier hair, like, oh, your hair don't match, you shouldn't even try to do extensions or tracks or whatever, right? And I felt like when I saw other girls who had a hair out of place, or had, this little thing wrong with her, I was like, that couldn't be me, it's never going to be me. And that kind of controlled my perception and how I wanted people to perceive me. So I kind of like stayed within the realm of like staying super cleanly look and stylistically. So yes, I dabbled in colors and I dabbled in different hairstyles, but I kind of stuck to the same like main agenda when it came to how I looked. And I played it safe, because one, a part of that comes from me being just stuck in my ways, and when I know something works, I like to stick with it, because I don't like surprises, right? But then a part of that, sticking to that, is more so being the comfortability in that, of sticking to the same thing that I know is going to work, because I don't want to be judged. I don't want to stand out to be harassed or ridiculed or criticized. And I don't want to be known as one of those type of dark-skinned girls. I want to be over here with the pick-me, oh, you're not like them. You're dark-skinned, but you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl. So that type of stuff. And I wanted to come on here and say basically, like, now that, like, it kind of transitioned into me from when I started being more natural and wearing my natural hair heatless, because I was natural for a long time, but when I went heatless natural, I kind of felt like, oh, I'm the natural hair girl. Like, is someone going to think in the natural hair community, or me being on YouTube, or people outside here, like, are they going to think that, like, I abandoned it, or I'm ruining my hair, or, like, is it a bad thing for me to wear my hair? This invisible pressure that's on your shoulders when you go natural and you do the big chop and all that type of stuff. It's like, oh, you did that for nothing, because now you're about to ruin your hair. You know what I mean? And I feel like I kind of stuck myself into that because of this invisible pressure. And now I'm so confident in who I am and what my beliefs are, and no, I'm not self-hating. Like, I don't have those restrictions on me anymore, because those burdens of this invisible societal and even communal, like with natural hair and black people and all that type of stuff, it's not rested on my shoulders anymore, because I have freed myself and it's not on my heart anymore. And I just want to be the one to say, like, girl, you can do both. Like, nobody said that just because you want to take care of your hair in this way, or even just show your curls or your natural pattern and wear a mini fro this day or do a wash and go that day, that you can't go and get some Brazilian hair and now you hate yourself. Like, I just don't think that correlates, and the two aren't the same. But yeah, so this was a message from me, and it's just a quick little tidbit. Thank you so much for watching, and this is Beauty with Intention. Thank you so much for watching this video, and have a great day.
Baby, we could talk about Let's talk